the game. It's a rich thing.
Hey y'all, this is Tasha. I am back with another video. Did you miss me? Or no? I'm just kidding, y'all. Please excuse my appearance because actually I was not sure if I was going to review this show again this week because to me it's been boring and I don't want to come here on camera with y'all to discuss a show that I feel like is boring because then my energy is really not going to be there. But you know, this week from the preview, I was like, okay, maybe it's going to be better. So I watched it and took some notes and I was like, okay, I can talk to y'all about the episode this week. So here I am. So here we are, you guys, to discuss Real Housewives of Atlanta. Thank you so much for stopping into my channel. Of course, thumbs up the video, comment in the comment section below, and subscribe if you are not already subscribed to the channel, y'all. So we are back with another episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 14. This is episode 7. I did miss episodes 5 and 6 because, again, I thought they were boring, y'all. Really, the last 2 episodes, the best part of the episodes were like the last 5-10 minutes of both of those episodes combined. I can pretty much summarize what happened in the next 30 seconds of the last 2 episodes. Episode 5, basically, Sheree got stood up by, waiting for Tyrone to meet her at the restaurant. He never came. And all the single ladies was mad about the whole vibrating panties that Candy bought to New York. Last episode, really nothing happened except for Marlo and Sheree being super messy at the very end of the dinner that Sonya planned for all the ladies to come together. And they essentially started talking about all the other ladies except for Drew. That about sums it up, I think. What y'all think? So we are back with episode 7 and it picks up where the last one left off. So Sheree and Marlo are coming back inside after Drew said she was not coming. We then see her walking through the door of the event. She says she's coming in peace. Sonya introduces her to her mom. Sonya says she's happy that she came. They can actually have a real conversation with one another and really get past the issues they are having. So they start eating the food that they have prepared. And child, I immediately get hungry and I'm like, pass the brown stew chicken because I could take a little bit right now. I wouldn't be mad at it at all. So Sonya said she then brought her gold medal to the party. So because, most people probably have not seen a gold medal and she wanted to give the gold medal to the person that could do the best dirty one because that's what they did at the episode last week. And then, of course, here comes Drew in her confessional. She is already hating it. And she's like, we don't bring our awards. Can you bring her Miss America crown? Candy ain't bringing her Grammys around. Like, why are we doing this? Girl, quit hating. I would love to see an Olympic gold medal in person. Like, that's just something you just don't see in person. You've seen crowns. Yes, it's not the Miss USA crown, but you've seen crowns. You can see, a Grammy. Go by Candy's house. She has plenty, but it's a trophy. But a gold medal, like very few people in the world have Olympic medals. I would love to see one. Stop being a hater, Drew. Okay. Drew then throws shade at Sonya again because she starts talking about how they could have talked in New York and, she came in to get her makeup done by her makeup artist for free. They flash back to when they were in New York and Sonya said that basically the makeup artist just touched up her makeup. She didn't really do her makeup. Sonya then tells us it was only like the makeup artist charged her $25 and here Drew is trying to call her out over $25. I'm just like, Drew, as much as you try to act like you want to be the bigger person, you be just as messy. Like, you wanted her to not bring up y'all situation in front of everybody, but yet you then try to bring up as if the lady ain't paying her bills in front of everybody. Make it make sense. If you don't want it done to you, why do you do it to other people? And that goes for all of them. Like, I just don't get it. I guess we just got to produce the show at this point. So they then talk about the photo shoot. Drew says her feelings were hurt because, the episode last week, Sonya uninvited her to her Mommy Nation photo shoot. Drew said, she's very sensitive and that just kind of made her upset. And that Sonya is trying to explain things to her. Drew keeps making all these faces. And then Sonya's mama has to jump in and she's like, give her some respect. Give her the same respect she is giving you. You keep making all these faces, knowing that these faces are basically pissing her off. Basically, mama's like, you got about one more time to make another face and you ain't gonna have to worry about Sonya. You got to worry about me, okay? you're going to have to worry about the Jamaican mama being on your behind at this point, because I don't care. I ain't on this show for real like Sonya is. So Drew then says that she basically feels Sonya is clout chasing, and Sonya's like, what? Clout chasing? You better put some respect on my name. I'm a 4-time Olympic medalist. And I said, I know that's right, girl. Like, Drew, quit playing with Sonya. Just because she ain't out here in movies, or she has not been on Real Housewives multiple seasons, girl, fall back. You have only been on what, 1-2 seasons at this point? Quit acting like Sonya is some nobody out here. She does not have a name for herself other than being on this show. Drew, you trying it, girl. So Drew then brings up the issue that Kenya had with the sex toys in New York. And she's like, I ain't going to be the only one in the hot seat. Let Kandi know how you felt about the sex toys. So Mama Joyce is like, all of y'all is grown. If you don't want to wear it, don't wear it. But nobody controls my vagina but me. I said, okay, we didn't need to know that, Mama Joyce, but we appreciate you. But we know you always going to be here for Kandi. But we need to know that, okay? Kandi said the game was for the game that people that wanted to play. And then she starts bringing up how Kenya starred in a very mature audiences only movie, and I'm like, I get the point you're trying to make, Kandi, but that's her professional life, not her personal life. Kandi was like, she found it funny that all the married people had fun with it, and it was the single people that had an issue with it. And me personally, I thought it was all fun and games. Like, I would be into the games either if I was single or if I was married. I would be down, to just have a little bit of fun. But then when they found out that, the remote controls can control other people's vibrators, that's when I was like, okay, maybe that's not what we want, because I would not want somebody else's husband controlling my vibrating panties. That's not what I'm signing up for, girl. Like, give the wives the remote if that's the case, and let the girls kind of just have a good time with one another. All right. So then we see Marlo and her team is arriving at a women's expo. And initially I'm a little bit confused as to what she's going to talk about, because I was like, Lee Archive? I don't think that's it. But let me just hold tight for my judgment, okay? But she shares that the expo invited her to speak to empower women based on her story and how she grew up. And then she tells us about the nonprofit she has called Glam It Up. She talks about how she grew up with her mom dealing with some substance abuse, and how because of that she grew up in the foster system. And she really just wants foster girls to know, they are not alone and they are worthy of everything. And I know Marlo is super messy, but I absolutely love that she is doing this. She has this nonprofit and she is doing this for foster girls, because this could make a huge impact in their life and how they see themselves growing up and moving forward in their lives of being an adult. So I absolutely love this. So next we see Sonya. She's at home with her parents and her sister, and she's telling them about the dinner with the ladies and basically telling them everything that happened. It flips back to Marlo, and she's leaving the expo, and Drew actually FaceTimes her, and they start talking about what happened at the dinner, and Drew is trying to figure out what she missed because she did not come to the dinner on time. Marlo says that Sonya was taken up for Kenya when she kind of started talking about her not showing up for like the little girls' night out that they had planned for Sheree. And I really want Marlo to stop making this a bigger deal than it actually is, because I truly do believe what Kenya said of, I started not feeling well, because she mentioned not feeling well at the photo shoot with Sonya the day before. She called Marlo after she had her glam done, and Marlo basically don't believe she was not sick because she called her on FaceTime with a face full of glam. Well, it seems like she was going to try to push through, and she explained that she was already prepared to come, and then when she started feeling well, the doctor said she needed to get tested. We know it's still a whole panorama going on, and whatever symptoms you have, we need to test it for the vid to see if that's what it is. Like, cut it out, Marlo. Like, Kenya gave you a very valid and real reason as to why she could not come, and you just continue to act like it was BS. Like, girl, stop it. And then back at Sonya's house, she's telling her sister about what Drew said, and child, her sister said it wasn't even like she was Melanie on the game. When I tell y'all I died, I said, not bringing med school into this. girl, I mean, but Drew, you all know, most of us still don't even see it for you because of what you did to Melanie and Derwin on the game. So you need to be treading lightly, girl, because we barely liking you, okay? So we then see Marlo continues to talk to Drew and says that, that she will tell Kandi that she should have been there more for Sheree. And she is really going to speak her mind the next time she sees her because she feels like Kandi needs to do better as a friend. I'm having a difficult time figuring out what everybody wanted everybody else to do for Sheree. Like, it is Sheree's part. She's a 40-plus-year-old woman who decided to date an ex-con that lives in a halfway house that has a curfew that can't go past 100 miles. Like, girl, we sorry he stood you up and all, but you have to move on. This man has shown you that he ain't here for it, okay? And I'm not sure what the ladies really gathering around and doing all this. It ain't like you found out your husband of 20 years was cheating on you and it's not like y'all had a relationship while he was in prison. What? Sheree, get out of my face with this. The next scene, we see Sheree at home and her life coach Jack shows up, and I'm like, please help her get her life together. He asks her how she is holding up, and she says she's been better, so he asks what bad looks like. She tells him about Tyrone being released and that, he stood her up at the restaurant. Production has to be shady and roll the tapes back. Jack asks her what she thinks a man in prison sees when he sees her, and he has to break it down and tell her that this man sees a fantasy. He is in this prison. He can't go anywhere. He's confined in these four walls, and he sees you as a fantasy that he is jacking off to. And I was like, sir, we was all with you, but we didn't need you to pull up the scenario of what they may be doing with whatever pictures, videos, letters Sheree may be sending to him, sir. Like, I feel like all these therapists that be on these reality shows, I don't know where they're getting their therapy license from, but we need to send it back, because send it back. Just send them all back at this point. He says that, Tyrone sees you on TV, he now gets out and the fantasy now becomes reality. And she says, well, he's now making me feel stupid because I kind of really believed everything he said, that we would have this young, really fun life once he get out. The the life coach asks if she is done with him, and she cannot say for certain that she's done with him forever and she will never talk to him again. Well, Sheree, don't expect nobody else to be coming to your rescue and feeling sorry for you if you want to keep going back to him. Like, stop it. He tells her that she should back off a little bit from Tyrone, and he asks her what is something she can do just for herself and not for other people. She brings up She by Sheree. The September, spring, summer collection of it all is what she brings up. She says she has started and stopped She by Sheree over the years. She's created different things such as accessories and all this stuff, but no one has ever seen it because she feels like she needs to get a business manager at this point. But she ends up telling the life coach, she says, no more Tyrone. I'm going to put everything into my business. Well, girl, I guess. Then we see Kandi is cleaning out her guest house, and she really wants to donate some stuff that she has to Marlo's charity. And I'm like, how funny when just last week when Marlo was on her rant, she's like, Kandi don't help nobody and she's just all for herself. And look at her trying to help your doggone foundation, child. Look at that. So Todd starts pulling some stuff out the bag. He starts clowning the stuff that she's trying to donate. And I mean, some of the stuff, I do agree with Todd. It was looking a little, early 90s, late 2000-ish, girl. So Kandi starts talking about she needs to go out of town because she has to film a scene for some TV show that she'll be on. And then she ends up calling Marlo because she's trying to figure out what would be the process of her wanting to get these things to the girls and donate them. Marlo tells her that she does not give the girls hand-me-downs because she said when she was in foster care, she got hand-me-downs and it really never made her feel special. So she's like, I wouldn't give Candy Cares an open bag of chips. So why would she, want to give me, worn items? And I'm just like, Marlo, them girls probably would have been so excited to get hand-me-downs coming from the Candy Burris. Okay. I was a little annoyed at her. Like, I understand where she was coming from, but also look at the person that is doing the donating. Like, Kandi probably still had things that she maybe had never worn. Maybe she's only worn once. Like, let the girls make the decision. Get the stuff, take it to them. If they decide they don't want anything, you can then give it back to Kandi or just donate it to a, you know, Goodwill, Salvation Army, or whatever you want to do with the items. But I think giving the girls the chance and the opportunity to say whether or not they wanted it, like, they may have been super excited to get that stuff from Kandi. Marlo, you're getting on my nerves. Like, guy, you being too messy. So next we see Sheree and Kenya. They meet up for like a brunch, I guess. And Kenya is talking about the drama with her business and how she wasn't able to get everything that she needed to get to Walmart, I guess, in time for her hair care items to be sold in the store. She's basically saying she's waiting for bottles to come in. Bottles are coming from China. Y'all know with that whole pandemic, there's been a whole issue with supplies for a number of people and a number of things. So, you know, she's just having issues like the rest of the world. So she's really struggling to make sure she keep her business afloat so she does not lose it. She says she's basically needs to get a team because she doesn't have a team. It is just her. Sheree says that the same thing happened with She by Sheree because she was doing everything by herself as well. And I'm like, Sheree, I understand we always kind of want to connect with people and show where we may be going through the same things, but I don't think this is it, boo. I don't think this is it. Kenya actually has product, a website. She's selling things. I believe she's like in Sally's. Like, she actually has a product that's being sold. You have a collection that no one has ever seen. It's not apples to apples, sis. It's just not the same thing. But she basically, you know, tells her, you know, I would talk to all these people and I would talk to men who, you know, would do these businesses, and then they would just end up hitting on me. Girl, okay. Anyway, Kenya tells her that she wants to really talk to her about, you know, why she didn't show up for the little girls' night that her and Marlo had planned for Sheree, because she's really said that Marlo's out here spreading lies about her. She says she really doesn't want to feel like Marlo is a double agent, but really Marlo is, because she continues to play both sides and is talking, you know, to you in your face and then talking about everybody behind their back. Kenya tells us that she's a very loyal friend, and Sheree is like, no, I really appreciate you, you know, telling me, you know, really what is going on and what had happened. But I'm like, Sheree, do you really? Because you just jumped on the Marlo train and believed whatever Marlo told you about the situation and was talking cash crazy about all of these ladies last week based on what Marlo had to say. So quit acting like, oh, I'm glad to hear your side now, because you was 10 toes down with Marlo last week. Anyway, Sheree says she thinks that they just need to be supportive of one another. And Kenya says that, you know, maybe she'll just have like a girls' lunch and they can all really just get together to then be supportive of Sheree. So we know that's going to be nothing but the mess. Okay. So we see that it's now time for the lunch, and Drew shows up first, and then Sonia shows up. They hug it out. It gets a bit awkward because we know they're not in the best place still, and they really have nothing to say to each other. So then Marlo shows up, and she looks absolutely amazing in this cutest little red dress and like jacket number that matches. So cute. She then tells them that her day is not going well because she got a letter from the court saying that her sister is trying to get released from jail, but it got denied. The judge says that he will basically sign the release if she goes to an inpatient mental facility. And the problem is, because of her sister's mental health issues, her sister is refusing it and basically thinks she'll be okay in like an outpatient setting. So basically she's going to set up a call for the boys to talk to her sister in hopes that hearing from the kids will help her to make the decision that is best, like seeing them. And I believe if she goes to this inpatient facility, she'll actually be able to see the boys. So maybe hearing from them will make her have a change of heart. So she's basically stressed out about that. And I really do hope in this situation that the family situation gets better for the sake of the boys. Like, my heart breaks for them to be able to have to go through this. And then, of course, for Marlo to just have to be the strong one to really, you know, keep herself and her emotions and everything in check in front of them, because you you really don't want them to see you break down like that. You want to be the strength that they need to get through this. And I hate it for them. So next we see Sheree and Kenya show up, and Kenya is still sick, but she just keeps showing up to, get these checks and keep the mess popping, I guess. So they all order food. Sheree's excited to have, some girl time. They ask Sheree if she's made a decision with Tyrone, and we really don't hear an answer. But, they all start telling her she's a little bit too good for him. Marlo then tells them how Candy called her to donate items to her, and she was like, I don't want no hand-me-downs for my girls. And Kenya gets on Marlo, and again, I'm here for it, y'all. In all these previous seasons, I have not been a Kenya fan, but Kenya has been giving me what I need this season. Like checking Drew's husband, checking Ralph. A couple episodes ago, I was here for it, and now checking Kenya checking Marlo because you just being super messy and ungrateful of this whole Candy wanting to donate stuff. Like, Marlo, stop. So she then calls her out and basically is, telling her that, you accused me of lying about being sick and really not being there for Sheree. And Kenya tells her to her face, you just pretend to be a friend, but you talk about everybody behind her back. And you do, Marlo. I'm sorry, but you do. So then Marlo talks about Kenya's bad wig, and it does look a little bit rough today, girl. I don't know what you was going through, but Kenya even admits it. She's like, I ain't feeling good. Yes, I just threw this wig on, and here we are. Marlo says that she loves Kenya, but she also wants to see more from Candy. And then I was like, we talking about Kenya. How did Candy get pulled into this? And then Candy's not even here. Like, Marlo, you just reaching at this point, trying to do anything to secure a spot for next season, I guess. Sonya then talks about, Sheree and Marlo talking about not being invited to the Mommy Nation event, and she wants to make it up for them and is kind of inviting them to another event she has coming up. And then, of course, Drew then jumps in and is like, what about the uninvited guests? Girl, pipe down, okay? Y'all act like y'all ain't feeling each other, so why you want to be invited somewhere anyway? Sonya then says Drew is driving her crazy, and she's really tired of all her little smart comments she has to make. And Sonya really goes from 0 to 100 real fast the way we see it. So I don't know if they cut out some stuff. I don't know if stuff just, built up over time. And finally, she's just like, I'm going to let you have it. But it did elevate rather fast for me. Sheree starts to try to calm her down. Kenya is tugging at Drew's chair because they're sitting next to each other. And I think all of this is kind of amplifying the situation. Not saying they would not have gotten amplified on their own, but it's like doing all this just makes the voices and everything gets louder and higher. Everybody starts standing up. It just makes things worse, in my opinion. So Drew then tells Sonya she's unstable from going to 0 from 100. I'm like, Drew, you can call other people unstable, but not your husband, child. Okay. Drew then calls Sonya fake and says, she needs to be true to herself. Sonya calls her whack, and she's like, now she isn't really sure if she even wants to build a friendship with Drew because Drew needs to learn how to communicate. And she isn't sure that she's a bad communicator because she's just constantly being gaslit by Ralph. And I was like, well, I ain't gonna say you wrong. I ain't gonna say you wrong. Kenya tries to talk to Drew, and she's telling her, I could see why Sonya may be upset because you tried to cut her off as she was talking, and that may have caused the escalation. And again, I agree with this because I feel like in situations with the ladies, Drew really asserts herself, and I feel she goes overboard because she can't do that with her husband, Ralph, who is the person that really needs to see that side of her. She doesn't give it to him, I guess, in an effort to keep the peace and not, cause drama within her household. But then she over escalates everything else with other people because that is her chance to have an outlet and to have a voice and to just say whatever it is she wants to say because she doesn't have to go home with them at night. That's my opinion of it all. Anyway, they said they're going to go to Portland for Sonya's event that she has. We then see Marlo meet up with her nephews after, I guess, everybody's gone. And she gets them to complete the FaceTime with her sister. They don't show the conversation, but we end up seeing that Marlo tells us that her sister basically immediately started cursing and blaming Marlo for where she is. She just kind of got up and walked away from the phone and then threw a chair. And you can see in this moment, Marlo is trying to fight back tears as to not cry in front of the boys, but her heart is completely broken. I'm sure not only for herself, her sister, but also for the boys. And, you know, her sister was really refusing the help that she really needs to make it through the other side of this thing. And again, Marlo has been getting on my nerves with the ladies, but this really pulls at my heartstrings, seeing her really get emotional, seeing the boys get emotional. Like, this is rough. And I believe, and Marlo would really tie into more of what she shows us on that side of things. Like, we could be cool, but she just so doggone messy when she with the ladies that it's not even, for me, it's mess that's not even entertaining at this point. It is just mess of like, what kind of person are you if you are this messy? Maybe it's just me, and maybe I'm getting to be over the Housewives of Atlanta, but geesh, it's a lot, y'all. Just let me know how y'all feel about this episode, and let me know, are y'all tuning into the Housewives of Dubai? I am watching it. Of course, I'm not reviewing it. I wanted to see if I would even like the ladies, but I'm loving the Housewives of Dubai and all the luxury that comes along with them ladies, y'all. But anyway, let me know how y'all felt about the episode tonight. How did y'all feel about everything that went on? And, you know, let's just chat it up in the comments below. Until then, I'll catch y'all next week, maybe, if the show is good enough. Peace.